Hello and very good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. We are ready for our second episode of Soulful Saturday. In Soulful Saturday, we do conversations with people into wellness or similar fields or who have experienced wellness or healing. And we talk about wellness and we are exploring different areas of wellness. And we're just waiting for our today's guest to join in.
Um, Her name is Sneha, and as soon as she accepts our invite and joins in, we will be ready to take this in. Okay. We're just waiting for Sneha to join in. This is going to be a very soulful conversation, talking about a lot of different aspects into wellness, healing, yoga, which is a very special and one subject that's so dear to me, that is yoga. So we are going to hear Sneha's journey. I'm not sure why she hasn't been able to join. I am accepting Sneha. I don't know why. What? Yeah, I can see your request. Okay, she's there. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, let me just adjust the frame. Yeah. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, very well. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
So, very warm welcome to the soulful conversation today.
Thank
I'm
you so much.
to have you here. So before we begin, I want to introduce Sneha a little bit. So Sneha is a dear friend, absolutely. But apart from that, she has been into the baking industry for a very long time, and then slowly made the shift towards wellness cooking, well, being a wellness chef. And today we will know what has her journey been from being a baker to a wellness chef. And now she is also a certified yoga teacher and set to start taking her classes in Ahmedabad. So
Yeah.
folks in Ahmedabad can join her online or offline for your classes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's like I mentioned, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I think we have come a long way
Yeah,
of finding each other through support groups and then being here.
yeah.
I think it's been an interesting journey for me. I started my own brand when I was 23.
Wow.
I think when people were finding jobs around, and I was running a business already. And by degree, I am a media professional. I studied media, and then I was working in media briefly, and then I found my love in food and never looked back. However, in the last few years, what has happened is I faced health issues, and I had a very, very good friend. She made me aware about the inflammation which happens with a lot of consumption of gluten or sugar, dairy. What suits my body, what doesn't suit my body, and that slowly shifted my path from having my own brand where I was just doing baking and being a pastry chef,
Hmm.
then working for a company as a head chef, and eventually coming to a point that I decided that I think I now want to make a shift from being just a pastry chef. I would want to use more local ingredients, more local food. And wellness is a very broad term. It's not just Ayurveda, it's not just modern nutrition. I think it's a very, very vast term, very vast field. And on the similar aspects, I think one of the things I keep going back to the roots, at least that's what has worked for me. So I kept going back to Ayurveda for some things, and I kept going back to yoga because I was exposed to yoga because of my granddad while I was growing up. So me and my childhood friend would, in the summer breaks, people would sleep in for longer, or I don't know, do other activities. We were forced to do yoga. So it was crazy to have that exposure and
Journey of doing yoga forcefully to doing it mindfully.
mindfully, right? It's a crazy journey. So a couple of months back,
It's you
you know,
practiced yoga only in the last few years. You have been practicing since you were a child.
yes, yes, but it was on and off. I kept taking a break because I think it's very important to find an appropriate teacher, appropriate guru
Okay.
who you can resonate with.
So what was
And
that point in your life when, if I had to ask you that, when you felt that, okay, I have to now, I mean, after so many years, that, okay, I have to go back to this. Yoga is something that I want to do.
I think I tried. I was diagnosed with a couple of health issues, and I tried doing everything by the book. Tried going for HIIT training. Tried doing more cardio. Uh, tried doing more strength training, but my body kept, giving up. So
Hmm.
then I thought, I think this is one thing which is still pending. Let me just now go back to it again and see. But I was very sure that whenever I restarted, I don't want to go to a class.
Hmm.
I will rather opt for an intensive course because I always knew it's beyond the mat, beyond asanas. It's the philosophy. It's to do with how you think, to how you eat, a lot of mindfulness. It's not just, the asanas. So that's why I enrolled for the
Important thing that people forget. Sorry, I was saying that that's just such a basic, but such a important thing that people forget, that yoga is beyond asanas, or yoga is beyond the breathing practices. People just think that yoga is only about practicing
yeah.
asanas or doing some physical movements. Nowadays, it has come up with so many different forms. I'm not saying that they are wrong. People are doing, and it's okay, it's good, but there's so much beyond that, and you mentioning it is a big thing.
I mean, I think you are a very big advocate of it, and you have lived that life, so nobody understands this more than you probably. But yeah, I think I lived it in a yoga shala, and I experienced the difference. So
Hmm.
That's how I went back to the roots, and I thought I was sure that I want to be near a water body, and then found a yoga shala, and I think that was brilliant. The acharyas were very good, very supportive, and I found my way, through it. So it was an amazing experience, and the intent was never to teach; it was to learn.
Hmm.
But when I learned it, and when I saw that so much of it brought about so much of difference in my body, I just felt that why is this not accessible to more people in the way it should be? So
Yeah,
that's how I decided that maybe I want to teach.
it's just that uh, the more it's getting out, like people know more about it, but it's becoming more complicated for
Yeah.
them. It's
Yes. Yes.
so simple. We can easily practice yoga in our day-to-day life, but people make it very
Very
difficult.
difficult. Exactly. Exactly. That's so very true. That's very true. How has your journey been? What made you, take the path of being a therapist?
So, as you know, that I've been into, practicing yoga and being a yoga therapist myself. My journey into yoga started at the age of 17 when I did my first yoga course, and then decided to take it up as my graduation or post graduation. But during all of this time, the philosophy of yoga that we learn, or whatever we learn in Bhagavad Gita or everything, is that all of this, the diseases or the physical ailments, everything that we are facing today in the stressful life or sedentary life that we are living, there's so much that people talk about lifestyle, but people forget that all of this starts from our mind, our thoughts, our overthinking, or stress that we have, and we forget how that we are trying to fix something which it does not need to fix, and we are taking medicines, but unfortunately that's not only thing that's going to help you.
Yeah.
So people forget that slowing down, or just decluttering your own mind or decluttering your emotions. There's a lot of clutter. It's
Yeah.
just, therapy is going to help you declutter. So this realization was always there, that this is something that I want to do. I want to help people more towards the mental health, and that is how I made my shift slowly, found my path from from yoga to focusing specifically on mental health, because I know a lot of people are focusing on the physical part of it, but nobody,
Yeah.
not many people, or the awareness itself, there's a lot of taboo when you tell people therapy. They will say, "Are pagal hai kya ki therapy le lenge?"
Hmm.
It's, and it is still happening in India, or not
Yeah.
only, even outside India. So it's a big thing, that people are not talking about. It's very important that we identify and help, and simple practices into mindfulness, or a few simple sessions into with a therapist can solve so much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. I mean, I think that's how our journey also started. That we found each other, and I took a few sessions with you, and um, I had similar, I think, inhibitions initially, that, oh, what's going to happen? I don't know how hypnotherapy works, how this works, or how that works. And I also wasn't like thoroughly convinced till we took, a few, and you convinced me to give it a try and take some sessions. And that's where I realized that uh, I was holding on to so many tiny things from childhood. I never imagined when we get into visualization what would come up. And the things that have come up are insane. Like when I was maybe 3 years old, or maybe when I was like 7 years old, and that that feeling has stayed.
Mm.
And I think what happened with those sessions is I slowly started releasing it, because I think as a child, the basic needs are love and care.
Mm.
And when sometimes that gets ignored, that's not necessary. That could be circumstantial. That could be sometimes, it's most cases it's circumstantial. No parent would want their child to suffer. And
I
the,
mean, it's such basic that parents, maybe they are not even aware
yeah,
on how this is going to affect.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They are not even doing it intently, but it happens.
Yes, yes, but the impact it leaves on the child is very, very huge. And that's what now the studies say, that till the time the child is 8, they have the maximum absorption and impression stay for much, much longer in life, which probably these researchers were not there before, and our parents are focused on more on survival than anything else. So I guess when I started doing sessions with you is where I realized that this so much more I was holding on to, right? And that was pretty insightful. So that those sessions were like very, very interesting, and that shifted my mindset around different
Nice.
modalities of therapy. And one of the things I also understood with you is what might work for me might not work for somebody else. For some people, something like CBT and affirmations and journaling, that works really well. For somebody like me, journaling does not work well. My mind is it's I think whatever we have spoken about is by far, you have told me, stop your logical mind, stop your logical mind, stop your logic. And it's very difficult. So when I sit for journaling, I'm like, huh, what is this?
I agree.
So
If with everybody, they have their own set of practices that work
yeah,
for them.
yeah. And I think that's what I'm saying, that there was so much to learn from you in those sessions as well, that probably what I needed was to loosen up and just focus on my subconscious mind, right? I
Just
cannot launch.
here is that learn from me, but learn about you.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair, fair.
Yeah, I mean, I know it has been a journey, and we can see how it has slowly and gradually helped you become more self-aware about
Yeah,
yourself.
definitely. 100%. There's no doubt about it.
So since you said that, journaling is something that does not really resonate with you. So what are some of the practices that resonate with you, that you follow into your wellness, lifestyle?
I think, again, whether it's therapy, what we're talking about, or whether it is yoga, or whether it's Ayurveda, I think what is important to understand is the concept of bio-individuality. Uh, Again, like what works for me might not work for somebody else. And uh, some basic practices, one of the Ayurveda, nutritionists made me aware about was how my body and how my gut feels. So tiny things like eating, by hands, because, the fingertips have, different energies. Eating fresh food because the food has prana. Um, for somebody like me, my mind can get into an overdrive, and there is, more vata. So doing the abhyanga, which is the morning massages, the oil massage, massaging my feet before I go to sleep. Tiny changes have, brought about such a massive difference in my life. And again, the concept of bio individuality is very, very big. For somebody like my body, intermittent fasting is not for me. So I need like proper breakfast. I need the first meal to have some fuel for, me to go ahead, and I can make a smaller lunch, and the dinner can even be smaller. And what I try to practice is, if I can have my dinner by 7:30, amazing. Like I love it because my body next day feels lighter. Um, in terms of like if journaling, I sometimes do a mind dump, which helps me, dump everything on the paper and just maybe burn it, or do something about it. But recently, what I've started doing is do meditation in the morning just after I get up, like a 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or half an hour. I feel what it helps me is to give me more resilience, because I think we live in a world where uncertainties are very, very high, whether it's your home. The moment you step out, the moment you get up from your bed, you don't know what's life gonna bring you. So it just makes me more resilient. It gives me more calm and gives me more strength to move forward in the day. And these are tiny things, but
Small.
uh, have worked for me a lot. And yeah, I just feel that I've come a long way to understand what it especially works for me. So it's a it's a trial and error for everybody. It can be exhausting, but it's important to find what works for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as you talk about the morning meditation ritual, I would want to add that people fear a lot with the term meditation itself. They are, oh my God, what is this? They are literally fear of just practicing and sitting for a few seconds. And it's such a powerful practice, it is so simple to just sit. And people think that, oh, meditation means something big, huge, because people think that, oh, meditations is only for the sadhus, or the yogis, or those who are yoga practitioners. Only they can practice it. Or people think, oh, Buddha did meditation, so you have to do meditation for hours. It is such a simple practice. You just sit for even like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Is simply just try to observe the thoughts that are coming into your mind. And it's observation, and not indulge in the thoughts that are coming in.
Yeah. So one of the things,
Hmm.
I've been on a spiritual path since many years, and when I started doing meditation, you rightly said that just observe. They have a space between you and the thoughts. Just observe the thoughts and don't indulge, because then otherwise it'll be like a chain of thoughts and chain of reaction will happen. Um, that is something which is very important. But when I initially started meditating, I realized, oh my God, my mind is so beautiful. It can create so many stories. I was amazed by it. Like it was, people, it should be in a negative way, but it's also important to understand that how powerful your mind is. And if it's like this powerful, if I can focus on these things, if I pull back, then what would be the positive impact also of this, right? Which is, if I can see the negative impact, it's equally capable of the positive impact also. And I think sometimes also people fear is, it's like if you throw a pebble in the water, so it's gonna create ripples. Initially when you sit, it's like you will see the ripples rather than the clear water. That's why people fear. And the simplest way, I believe, is just to remind yourself to be present here now, like not in your past, not in your future, just be here now. And that's just mindfulness, and which is nothing but you meditating in the moment. So I think this just become a huge term. You're right that people get scared, but it's just so simple, right?
And it's not necessary that people think that, oh, we have to sit and close our eyes and meditate. No, it's not necessary. You can even be walking and be mindful and meditate during your walk. Just observe how you're
Yeah.
walking and not indulge in the thoughts that are coming in, or the external world.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary that, oh, you sit like in the yogic pose and close your eyes and meditate. No,
Yeah.
it's simple. It's very important to make it, simplify it for people to, not fear it and practice.
Yes. So true. So true.
However, you can feel the energy that you feel after meditation is literally underrated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. That's very, very true. Very true. You, in fact, you take. I remember you had come for your full moon meditation, right? You have taken workshops around meditation, and um, what's the importance of? Is there any, like, I'm still trying to understand it, and I know there's certain impacts, but I think you are a better person to share your insights on what happens on a full moon day. Why do they emphasize, on that? What happens on a new moon day? What should one be, doing on those days? Are there basics of meditation which one should be practicing, what one should not be practicing? I think what I've heard growing up, I'm not very sure that on the full moon, the rays are so, the moon rays are so powerful, you should maybe, ऐसे पहले बोलते थे कि चांदी के glass में you take the water and keep it there, so you absorb that it absorbs that energy and then you drink that. Is it true? What is the concept around these things?
To add in there, thank you for asking me that. So, moon in its phases, the planetary movements that happen. Moon, when it goes in its phases, like comes up and goes down, it has like it has effects on the tides of the ocean as well. Like tides go up and go down. In the same way, it affects our emotions and our own mental health as well. Our body as well. So when the full towards going towards the full moon, if you might have noticed, there's a lot of emotions that comes up. So why suggest people to do meditation during that particular time is that to help you sort that emotions. If you have a lot of energy that is there on the full moon day, use that to channelize in the right path that you want to. Journal what you want to manifest, because the energy is so strong that, when you actually put the glass of water under the rays and have that, moon's energy has that impact on the emotions, on the types of our how so it's basically, you are trying to have that glass of water to get that energy. And meditating on that particular day is to, sort your emotions and channelize it in the correct path and journal them at the end of the day. Okay, you want to write down what you have experienced in the meditation, or what is something that you want to do to in the coming few days of that month. Also, every full moon has its own speciality, has its own different energy according to the planetary motion. So that also impacts us a lot. And when you talk about new moon, so now that the new moon is the end of the phase of one round of meditation, and then the second starts. So also during the Amavasya, when there is no moon, the energies are very low. So a lot of people who experience a lot of low moods, or you might see in your body that you're feeling a little low. So that this is the time when you want to meditate to get energized. If,
So are there, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
So are there any, when we talk about meditation, I know some people chant, do chanting, like if they're on a path, or there are different people following different things. Um,
Yeah.
are there any types of meditation which are there, and how do we, uh, for a layman, for somebody who's curious but is not able to take that first step, uh, what is the best, like, for my first question is, are there any types of meditation? The second question is, uh, what's the most basic tool you would suggest to somebody who just wants to, who's curious, who's fearful, but then wants to, like, dabble into it and see that how it helps him or her. So what is your take on it?
So your first answering your first question, are there any types of meditation? There are a lot of types of meditation. If we go by the texts, Hatha Yoga itself has a lot of meditations that are mentioned. A lot of yogic texts have mentioned about different types of meditation. Patanjali Yoga Sutra mentions about dhyana in it. So there are a lot of types of meditation. A lot of different spiritual groups, they have their own meditations that have been created, and I would say each meditation has its own different energy, and each meditation has its own power, so all of them, I would say, are great to practice. One thing to add now here, for a layman to practice meditation is that it's very simple. If you are somebody who is just starting, I would suggest that start with just having a few, sitting down and just taking few deep breaths and focusing on your breath. Just focus on your, that you don't go towards your thoughts. And even if you are going towards them, bring them back to your breath. The second thing, if you are into any kind of chanting, if you are okay to chant Omkar, or if you are into any mantra or anything that resonates with you, just do the chanting. Chanting gives you the equal benefit of meditation, because you are actually focusing on your chanting. Now, I would say when you are doing chanting, you focus on the chanting and not the thoughts.
Yeah.
Because if you are sitting and chanting, still thinking about the world, then it's not going to help.
Yeah.
So sit down
I
and do, and that helps. So simply.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of my, things from the Yoga Shala also, that how even Om has like three parts to it, right? And how pronunciation is so important because it creates certain vibrations in your body. See, again, the same things, like we have so much of ancient wisdom, but it's not probably passed on in, a particular way which is more digestible, which has been more digestible to us. So, like, interestingly, you mentioned something similar, that if it's chanting, then focus on the chanting, and that maybe helps, the people much more than maybe sometimes just bringing them in the now. So,
Agree?
yeah, I agree. But I mean, that brings me.
Are you there? Yeah. We can't hear you, Sneha. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
You?
Oh, yes, yes.
That was
Now,
my Instagram timer for the day.
no,
Sorry, that's again a part of mindfulness.
not
uh,
a lot.
Sorry.
It helps to
Yeah,
put.
it helps. It definitely helps. Definitely helps. Uh, but that, because we spoke about meditation and we spoke about full moon and emotions, that also makes me, question you that previously we were talking about therapy. Now, I guess I have been very curious around psychology, mindfulness overall. So for me, it was a different journey. But till date, I know people, even though we live in a world that after COVID, the taboo around therapy has gone down. But
Slowly.
yes, slowly it has gone down, but it's becoming better, which I'm really happy about. But what do you again say to somebody? I think it's very hard to convince somebody of what therapy is, of what are the benefits. Somebody who has like experienced it, their experience would be very, very different, and it's very hard to put it into words. Mm, uh, Again, if it's the same person, like I said about meditation, who are curious but they are fearful, uh, how would you break down the term therapy to them, and how does it really help them? Because uh, I have also met people who previously had a therapist, went to a therapist, and the experience was not that great. Or have a friend who's a psychologist or a therapist, and they are very judgmental, and now they have formed an opinion. And it's so unfortunate, we live in a world where there'll be all kinds of people. So, unfortunately, they have experienced, that. How do we like, if I have a friend and I want to encourage her to take up therapy, how do I tell her that, hey, it's an investment in you, like, and there are different modalities available, there are different forms available. How do you explain to them in a more convincing form? Yeah.
Okay. So to begin, I would say that I will specifically talk about hypnotherapy or the trauma work or inner child healing that I do, because I know the psychologist that they do therapy is very different from
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So in the therapy that we do is, it's basically creating a safe space. So you are here in a safe space with a therapist, talking or having a conversation with your own self.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and in this setup, you are trying to, like I said, there's a lot of clutter that has happened, that is there. In this session, with the support of the therapist, you yourself is decluttering this emotions. Like the see room, now there's a lot of mess. We have to declutter. You yourself is doing with the support of a therapist. So it's a the therapy that we do is very much client centric. There is there is no judgment in this space at all. Again, if I talk about hypnotherapy and the meditation that we are talking about, hypnotherapy is very much like a meditation session. It's like a guided meditation session with a therapist that you have to navigate you towards the emotions, patterns that you've been having in your life. There are triggers in our life, very simply, that you've been suddenly reacting to certain things in certain way, and you are not being able to control those emotions or those reactions, and you don't even know why is it happening. So in this safe space of therapy, we try to, understand what these emotions are, what these triggers are. Go back from the moment that they've been formed. There are a lot of, like we are talking about the childhood patterns, There is something that happened into your childhood. Now there again, when I talk about this, there are two parts of our mind, the conscious and the subconscious. So conscious mind stores information from our day-to-day life, but the emotions get stored in the subconscious mind, and you do not have control onto the subconscious mind until and unless you are in a relaxed state. So what does meditation do? Meditation takes you to a relaxing state.
Right.
Therapy session, people think, oh, hypnotherapy means oh pendulum leke aise kar rahe. No, we don't do that, sorry. There is nothing like that. There's the light has gone off, sorry guys. So yeah, hypnotherapy is nothing like doing a pendulum thing or taking you to a place where you will have no control and now what will happen to you. No, that in the hypnotherapy session you are very much in control of
I think there's
yourself.
a lot of taboo, yeah, around it.
Yes.
बड़ी फिल्मी हो जाती है story.
बड़ी फिल्मी हो जाती है story. So there, it's you are very much in control of yourself. You know what is happening around you. You are very much control of what is the conversation that you are having with your therapist. But you are in a relaxed meditative state where the therapist is helping you to heal these emotions that have been formed at a very early stage or at any stage of your life, so that the life that is coming ahead gets better.
Yeah, so important. I mean, you said
Yeah.
something very interesting that with a therapist, it's a safe space to be with yourself. And that was so simple but so crucial, I feel. Um, I believe that like, when you said something like this, it just made me wonder that we need to have so much compassion towards ourselves, which a capitalistic society will never like. If you have compassion towards yourself, how will they earn money? They never will encourage you towards those things. So so much compassion is needed, right? And we don't really do that. It's so
And there
important.
are many diseases these days that are
Yeah.
psychosomatic. Where are these coming from?
Hmm.
Instead of trying to take medications and trying to, be in that circle, I'm not saying medicine doesn't help. Medicine absolutely helps. But sometimes these psychosomatic diseases are formed because you're holding on to a certain emotion like anger.
Hmm.
It's powerful. You've been holding on to certain sadness, certain anger for maybe 20 years, 10, 15 years of your
Yeah.
life. Uh,
Yeah.
that is how you will see all your surrounding. You think people, why are people behaving with me like this? Maybe sit down with a therapist and see why are you, what is going on inside you that is coming back to you.
That's so true. That's very true. True. Yeah.
So yeah, that is what simply it is about hypnotherapy. Any other questions that you have for me?
Mm,
Have for you then?
do you have anything for me?
Yeah, I mean, I would want to, ask you that since you are now into this wellness chef, being a wellness chef journey, I wanted to ask you what are some of the principles that you've been following? Are there any specific Ayurvedic principles that you follow into cooking, or how has that been for you?
Uh, you know, I had like a year back or so, I had also enrolled for a nutrition course.
Mm.
And I always felt that there was something more than that. There was something more than that. And when like I mentioned, I last year had somebody who made me understand things from an Ayurveda perspective. I feel that everything is your mind, body, everything is so connected, but versus modern nutrition just considers only body. It's like you mentioned psychosomatic. It does not mention about the integration, which is I think which is absolutely wrong. I have developed so much compassion towards myself and towards my body. I have stopped judging myself that if I'm craving chocolate, I'm going to have it. If I'm craving sugar, okay, I'll maybe have a piece of date, but I will have it. Because that is what my body wants right now, and it's directly related to my nervous system. I have to give myself that thing in controlled manner. And once that's satisfied, I need to understand why was I feeling that way. But in that moment, there's no harm in doing something like that, unless you're obsessed about certain things or you have certain goals. Then you will get into the glycemic index of things, and how the glucose spike. I'm not denying any of that sciences, but I think just seeing things from one perspective is not does not help. I think we need to see things from a very holistic perspective. So if I have a few learnings, important ones is, yes, I would be mindful about these things and I appreciate what the neuroscience has given us. But what Ayurveda has also made me understand is what my body needs. If I need to, if like I'm a vata person, if I need sugar, if I need something to calm my nervous system, I need it. And there's nothing wrong about it. We need to stop being so judgmental. The other thing, like from the lifestyle perspective, like I mentioned, that the morning and evening massages that really help my nervous system. I really feel my body is in a sync. Uh, the third thing is using cold press oils. 100% for sure has helped me a lot, a lot. How it works on your digestive system, like if you see something like canola oil, which is very easily, like sunflower oil, which is very easily propagated, if you do more research, the oil which is extracted has to go through so many bleaching agents, so many processes. It's highly processed, which is going to eventually cause inflammation in the body. So, as much as possible, like I stay in Ahmedabad, where right now it's winter, so at least I can use mustard oil, I can use sesame oil, and if it's summers, I still use sesame, cold pressed sesame oil, but you reduce the consumption, which is brought about very quite a few difference in my day to day life. Is something which I have observed, and again having balanced meals, a portion of salad, a portion of carbs, a portion of protein, which again I feel that Ayurveda misses out on that, talking about that, because it focuses on prana and it's integrated with the yogic lifestyle. So unless you're completely working on that path, then you go ahead and follow Ayurveda to the T. But if you're not reached there, then you do combination of things which helps you sustain this modern lifestyle also. So we have to find a midway out of what works for you. Otherwise, if you make things complicated, then it's not gonna. You will give up very quickly,
Very
very
good.
very quickly. So I try to keep things very simple, follow simple rules, simple things that makes a much more difference rather than sitting and thinking about. There are times when I've had leftover foods and I have it the next day, it's against Ayurveda, but I don't have the time. So rather than having something like a pizza or burger from outside, I rather have something like this, which might have less prana, but it's still home cooked food, and my gut will be still happy, and the gut will be still okay. And I think the other important thing which I felt is every few days go on a cleanse, do a khichdi, have khichdi twice, in a day, have fruits in the breakfast and have khichdi twice in a day to reset your gut. That is again very very crucial. And something like khichdi is, in Ayurveda there are three major, like we have different doshas, so it's balancing for all body types. And so you don't have to think about what's my body type, etc. It's bioindividuality is there, but something like khichdi is very neutralizing. So that those are very tiny things which have helped me move forward in life. The other thing which I'm trying to do is have more things from my kitchen in my system. For example, the season is changing, so I cannot process milk. I don't like milk, but I cannot also process milk. So I have a glass of warm water with turmeric. When it's less warm, then I'll mix some honey in it. I know the properties of anti-inflammatory turmeric and all those things. Have jeera ka pani in the morning when I feel that my gut needs more support, or in the summers I will use those herbs and things. In fact, today we did a collaboration with LD Museum Art, and I think you might be aware, we did a nature walk. It was so beautiful that we walked on those trails to understand different sort of trees, how the fruit of one tree, but we can, for example, there was tamarind, we can use tamarind leaves, like we already use the fruit, but how do we use seeds? How are we processing the seeds? It acts as a coagulant. It's a natural coagulant. There is the leaves of tamarind are used extensively. The chutneys are made, so you can put it in your salads. So understanding what's around us and incorporating them rather than always going to the market. You definitely go to the market, but what's around you is also, we need to be aware about what's happening around us. So tiny things, but I think major
Yeah.
impacts.
So when you talk about all of this, the one thing that I'm reminded of is mindfulness again. Here,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
when you said that, being mindful of the portion that you are eating. It's not that you don't eat what you want to. You have sweet cravings, you eat it, but you be mindful of the portion that you are eating. You
Exactly.
let yourself, do what you want, but mindfulness, and then being aware of the nature around. So that is also mindfulness, where you are, you are just aware of what is around you. We also have a question here, I think, where someone is asking us, Argish is asking us that, are there any specific foods to reduce anxiety or depression for mood?
Oh, this is for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, I think so. Today at the food walk, I had made some blue pea tea, which is Shankapushpi.
Hmm.
The Shankapushpi flour, you brew it, and that helps a lot in your activating your memory system, but it also soothes your nervous system. So for people who have anxiety, it really calms your nervous system. Same is for chamomile.
Smile.
Chamomile is also very relaxing, but Shankapushpi is actually has more antioxidants and is more calming than chamomile. So you
Hmm.
can maybe swap, and chamomile has a distinct, thoda sa grassy flavor, versus blue pea is almost neutral. So you add some, blue pea with some, lemon drops and have it, or have some tulsi, ginger, mix it. Add basically any flavors which you want. If you're having jeera ka pani at night after your food, boil some jeera, boil some blue pea, and have that, so that's going to ease your digestive system and also your nervous system. The other thing is also there's a direct connection between gut brain. There's a lot of now research in the gut brain axis. So again, it just brings us to what Ayurveda has been telling us for years together, that fix your gut and your most of your problems in life will be sorted. So that's what they probably meant. So I think in some ways when I was trying to say that to reset your gut through the khichdi wala bit also will help you overall reset your system, not just, the gut.
Yeah. So when Ayurveda speaks about, even the yogic style speaks about the same. When you are doing kriyas,
Hmm.
cleansing techniques that you
Yeah.
practice, you are
Yes.
actually trying to clear out your gut to, or your body to, feel mentally calm.
Yes. Yes.
That's one important practice. Kriyas is one very strong and important practice that we suggest to people who are going through
Yeah.
depression and anxiety. That really helps them. Very
Yeah.
powerful.
Very powerful. So true. Very true.
Great conversations. We are open if anyone has any question. So tell us about your today's farm workshop that you did.
Um, so it's a new project we're working on with it's called Community Wellness, and in short it's called COWE Cove. It's called Project Cove on Instagram. But what we're trying to do is like I said about this, food walk, the nature walk, that there's so much around us which we're not aware of. So today's agenda was making people, aware about that. So there's a fantastic person, Mansi, who is a landscape designer, and she took us around. She's aware about a lot of, species of plants and trees. So she took us around, and what ways can we incorporate practically these things in our life, not just in food but also in, other lifestyle. Like there was this I forgot the name of the tree. There was this tree where the pods are, when you break the pods, it can be used as a laxative. Like you mix that in water and have it, and it acts as a natural laxative.
Interesting.
uh, there was, yeah, and that, like I mentioned about the tamarind seeds ka powder, that's used as a natural coagulant. So she was taking care of that. There was another friend who was, she's into permaculture, and she's also building a food forest. So she made us understand of how different plants and trees can, complement each other. So there was a planting session which was there, and my role was to bring them, make them aware about what's locally available right now. So right now there's pork which is locally available, and most people know pork in the form of jowar,
Hmm.
but it's also available in the form of wheat. And pork is nothing but tender grain,
Great.
and it comes only for like 1.5 or 2 months.
Hmm.
So I made a salad out of pork with strawberries and desi corn and a couple of other fruits and veggies. Very simple salad, but all I wanted to make them try is uh, how it's important to have your regional, local, readily available food, which changes with every harvest season, and make it more contemporary. You know, who's telling you to make, you know, a pork का कुछ आपको process करना है, इतना नहीं करना है. Make a salad out of it.
Yes.
So it was very easy. People came around and asked me recipes, and I was like, yeah, go home, make it. I'm going to give you the recipe because I want them to do it and incorporate in their day-to-day life. The other thing which I made was ginger, tulsi tea, herbal tea with jaggery, but I also added blue pea. So I wanted them to again, and adding blue pea, you know, adds more complexity to the flavor. Otherwise, it's just ginger, tulsi, and you're doing, oh yeah, that's what, you know, it is. But when I added blue pea, the color changes, the complexity, you know, changes of the, you know, whole tea. That was also again to create curiosity and make them ask questions that, oh, what is this, how do I, you know, how do I brew it, where do I make it, to again start conversations around our you know, food. Why do we have to, you know,
Around us. That's
yeah, this
available and
exactly.
around us. We still want to go and have food that's I'm not against any food, but food that's not grown locally, that's fancy. We
Yeah.
want to eat all of that.
Yes. Yes, yes. So making them aware about those things, and the step two is definitely to educate them of the quality of food which we are eating. What is organic food? What is actually organically certified? How much of pesticides, for example, the amount of pesticides which are used in grapes is insane. So we rather not eat that than just, you know, harming our health. So the step two is going to be educating people. These are just mediums where we are forming a community, but it's also bringing more awareness and making them question things. So uh, किसी के दिमाग में आप एक बीज बोल रहे हो, हम स्पून फीडिंग करेंगे तो वो तो भूल जाएंगे. But we're just planting a seed that you today you saw like 10 species of trees. Tomorrow you yourself will question that, oh, what is this tree? You know, this is interesting. What about this? इसका फूल, ये फूल edible है क्या? इसको कुछ कहीं डाल सकते हैं क्या? So planting a seed so that they become more curious about these things. That's the main thing.
The blue pea, Shankhapushpi, is available around us. People don't even know this one is.
Yes, yes. People don't even know about it. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. There's an interesting story around this that when I was in Mysore for my yoga course, Mysore में तो बहुत abundance में, बहुत ज़्यादा. So I was at one of these again Ayurveda practitioners, and I had gone to him and I said, and he had served me blue pea tea. So I asked him कि I thought okay यहाँ पे इतना abundantly every other cafe is also serving, जहाँ देखो वहाँ है ही. So I thought कि ठीक है मैं पूछती हूँ. So I asked him कि where do I find it, like where do I find dried blue pea, because if I go back home I would want to, you know, take it back. So he started laughing. I said why? He said you will not get it anywhere. I said why? He said because यहाँ पे almost सबके घरों में है. It grows very easily. So, and people know the properties. So every other day people are brewing in their home. Nobody cares to dry it and then sell it because कौन खरीदेगा? And I was like, oh wow, that's so amazing, right? कि नहीं
Yeah.
मिलता क्योंकि abundance में हमारे पास already है, हमको नहीं बेचना है, हमको चलेगा.
Yeah. When you say on that point, I know in some part of the Karnataka region, like my Mangalore, I've been to Mangalore, and I know they make their own oil at home because they have coconut trees. So they make
Yeah, see,
it at home.
yeah,
So I can ask them that, I want to buy coconut oil, and they say, "Hmm, we don't know. We make our own oil. We can give you a bottle."
see,
Yeah.
see, exactly, yeah. That's so interesting.
Question that is there, that how does stress eating impact mental health and how can we manage it? Stress eating, maybe we'll jointly answer this, me and Sneha, is that you are doing stress eating because emotionally there is need for something
Yeah.
that is being fulfilled. And when this need is not being fulfilled, you are trying to fulfill it with food. So slowly and gradually working on your mental health, having some mindfulness practices for yourself will help you with your stress eating. And then
Yes.
Sneha will answer on her part on how mindful eating, like she just said, that just being mindful about what you are eating helps.
Yes. I think reducing the portion size, it's okay to indulge. I feel it's okay to indulge, have smaller, be mindful of your portion sizes. If it's you're craving for, like I mentioned, like I do crave for sometimes sweets, and I'm not somebody who likes sweets as much, but I do crave for it. But once that craving is gone, I need to ask myself, what emotion am I trying to suppress here by doing this? That what you said and I am saying is very interconnected only. That there
Absolutely.
is something, like when I eat sugar, or when I eat a date, or when I eat a chocolate, what do I feel? For example, for me, it's very comforting. It soothes
Mm.
me. So what I'm needing is love and care, and maybe it's not available from people around me. So then I need to learn, like in therapy, that's what it's taught, that to be your own best friend. So, and that brings back this is why we are here in this life, to have a more holistic approach to things.
Yes.
So it's okay to indulge, but again, sit with yourself and be mindful that why am I doing this? And for example, you know, interestingly, while I was growing up, when I was in school, वो बीका जी का भुजिया आता है जो, और उसमें एक स्पेसिफिक वर्जन आता था पहले, जो थोड़ा ज्यादा तीखा आता था. सो इन माई हाउस एक ज्यादा तीखा आता था और एक ज्यादा ब्लैंड आता था. सो इन माई हाउस वो तीखा वाला used to come more. And when I was studying in the college, if I have to stay awake for longer hours, I would not have tea and coffee. I would have bika ji bhujia, because वो इतना तीखा होता था that it would like wake me up, and it would make me alert. So
Mm.
what I probably wanted at that point was, in those, it's such a simple thing,
Mm.
but I needed that that's also stress eating only, but I needed that thing to cover up in some other way,
Other
right?
way. Yeah.
So,
And
so
to add that, add there another thing that really helps is journaling. If you are doing that, just
maintaining a
sit
food
down.
journey.
You know,
Yeah,
uh, food journaling helps, or just write down an emotion. Eat what you are wanting to eat. Eat whatever it is. It's okay, but write down what you really needed at that point in time. Uh, when you are eating that food. What was the strongest emotion when you overate at that point in time?
yeah,
Just be aware of that and then try to trace it or sit with a therapist.
exactly. Yes, and I feel that irrespective, just increase your protein intake from the nutrition point of view. That the feeling of satiation happens a lot,
Mm.
because when your protein intake goes high, your stomach is full, and the cravings from the modern nutrition point of view, they go down. So you need to have good quality of food, which means a balance of fiber and also protein.
Mm. Thank you so much, Sneha, for this soulful conversation. I think this was a very holistic and very soulful conversation that we had. Thank you for sharing your personal journey, your insights, your learnings with us and our viewers. We are very grateful for you having you here, and we hope to do more collaborations. Sneha also has a yoga page that she has started, Conscious Yogini. So go follow her from here. I am going to tag that page as well. And keep joining us for these soulful conversations. We do it every fortnightly on a Saturday, 6 p.m. And looking forward to doing more collaborations with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. You've been a very crucial part of my healing journey, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Glad. Always.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye.